Hello, excuse me. My name is Charity, and you can find me as blueridgeknits on Instagram and Ravelry, and you can find me as Blue Ridge Knits Shop, all one word, on Etsy. I'll put some links down below. Thanks for joining me today. Talk about a little bit of knitting, just knitting today, I think. It's been a while. Life has been busy. My oldest is in school. He's in first grade now, and time just gets away from me. There's not enough of it in a day. 3 kids, a job, a hobby. You only lose so much time. But we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start with some finished objects, then we'll go to some works in progress. And I don't really have any future knitting right now, because I just started my big project, which we'll get to. But one of my most recent ones, first what I'm wearing, this is the Maile cardigan by Andy Satterland, and I love it. I knit it out of Lion Brand woolies, I believe, so I could wear it to work and not worry about it, or at Starbucks. Coffee gets on everything, and sugar and stainy things get on everything, so I didn't want to worry about it. So it's 80% acrylic and 20% wool, and it is very warm, and I don't get to wear it very much at work because it gets hot. I messed up in the lace up here, but you can't tell. I can't really stand up, but I extended the body, by 2 full repeats of the lace pattern on the front, but what I did not account for is she does shaping under the bust, but if you extend the length of it, it's supposed to be cropped. If you extend the length of it, you need to add in waist increases, because I can't button the bottom 2 buttons, which is fine. I button the top ones, or the middle couple, and or just wear it open because it's pretty warm. But it's chilly today, so I'm wearing it. So recently I have finished the Let's Get Lost shawl by Veronica Joby or Hobie, or Job, I don't know, I'm sorry, and it's this beautiful 2-color business. Well, it's supposed to be 2-color. It was a Girls Road Trip 2016 kit. Magpie Fibers and Yarn on the House do a collaboration, and my mama got it for me for my birthday, and I ran out of yarn. I didn't do a gauge swatch or try to match my gauge to theirs, so I'm guessing it was looser. But it's beautiful, and I'm fine with it. I used some leftovers from a pair of socks I had made out of Space Cadet Creations, and I don't know the colorway. But it's, these are, the blue and the brown are both 100% wool, non-superwash, and the gold right here, sorry if you can hear the kids playing outside, the gold right here is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon. And yeah, I have not blocked it. I ran out of yarn, both yarns. But I like it. I think it gives it a little bit more interest. I have not woven in ends. Well, I started to. Here. And then, no. There's a lot. And then look at that. Haha. This part reminds me of a cloud. But I'm not in a super rush to finish it. It's more of a shawlette. It's very light, and it's cold out right now. We're just getting into winter here in North Carolina. Did I say that? I'm in North Carolina, in the mountains. So, another one of my most recent, well, the most recent, I finished it yesterday before work, and then wore it to work yesterday, is this hat I made out of Peace Fleece in the Grassroots colorway, and it is a beautiful brown with lots of tweedy bits, and I love it. And the pattern was a Tin Can Knits hack. It is the barley, so instead of the garter panel, I did this big horseshoe cable, and I fudged the decreases up here. I just did a decrease the way I thought I should, or what looked good. And then the rest I did the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern on it. And the same thing, I fudged the decreases. They're not perfect, they don't match. But you can't really tell, because it's tweedy and textury. But I made it to wear to work. Because I can wear a handmade hat at work, so why not? Yeah, it's a hat. I like it. But I made this hat to make me feel better about this one. This is the Traveling Cables hat by Pearl Soho, and I did another big, long-ribbed cable hat before this that took over 100 grams of yarn, but I was a little delusional with this one. I was just so excited, and the yarn was perfect, and the cables look so amazing, but this is it. And I still have 5 rounds of this cable repeat before the decreases, and this is probably not enough to finish a single round. So I need to frog it, because this is, this is a 100% merino, naturally dyed, with rhubarb from Echo View Fiber Mill, which is right around the corner from me. I got it during the WNC yarn crawl this past May, I believe. And it's just so beautiful. It all looks so beautiful together. I need some sad music to play. But I'll probably just put it in a bag for a while, which is a shame for this beautiful, beautiful yarn, but I can't bring myself to rip it out yet. Well, we're going to find something. Oh, but I held it double, and I need to find a pattern that screams this yarn, and then maybe I'll be able to rip it out. Maybe. I've got a couple other finished things that I forgot to bring in the room with me. I have a Jong, J-O-N-G, coat by Julie Tootill, T-O-O-T-I-L-L. And it's a big, oversized garter stitch coat. I still have not taken proper finished object photos, so those should be popping up on Instagram sometime soon. And maybe I'll remember it in the next time I record. We'll see. But let's talk about what I'm working on now. So the Let's Get Lost shawl was my big, kind of languished for a little bit. And it was I need to push to finish it because, 1, I needed the needles to do the ribbing of the sweater I'm working on. And 2, I just needed it to be done before I started my Christmas knitting. I have not previously been a big Christmas knitter, but this year I told my husband I would make him a sweater and a pair of socks. So we're working on that. We're gonna do it. It's gonna happen. That's the only Christmas knitting I have, though. Sort of. But this is another beauty I've been working on. Not a whole lot recently, but I didn't have a pair of socks. I didn't start his socks yet, and I needed a vanilla project to knit at knit night. And this is the Simple Sock Shawl. Sorry, looking at my notes, if I can find it. By Andy Steck, who is at Purlbug everywhere, P-U-R-L-B-U-G. But my mom got me this for my birthday this year. And she included a printout of Andy's pattern, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's called the Simple Sock Shawl, and it's a weigh how much yarn you have kind of project. So it's very forgiving, and it will allow me to use this whole beautiful, gorgeous sock blank by, Whip Yarns. And this was, like I said, a gift from my mom this year, too. My first sock blank, and I'm very excited about it. It is just, I'm going to want to work on it now that I pulled it out, but I can't. Nope. But it's just beautiful. This was a leaf, this green one, and the gold one was a leaf, too. And now we're getting into this kind of brighter orangey red in the next leaf. And it's so exciting to rip out yarn. Knitting, you know, it's weird to be excited to rip out knitting. But beautiful. And that's living in this bag of mine, and I did a stamp on the inside instead of a tag. Got a handle. I've got 2 more of these. I need to just seam up the sides and add to the shop. But they'll have 2 stamps. One that is upright, or I guess, I don't know. When the bag is sitting up like that, and then I dropped the stamp on this one, haha, and so it's my bag. But the other bags will have an upside down stamp, so when you fold it and use it as a yarn bowl, it'll have it, instead of it being upside down, it'll be right side up. And they're super cute and soft, and it's my favorite bag right now. It's this really nice tall size, and I had a pair of socks and 2 shawls in here at one point. And it has been very nice. Next up, this is my Cactus Bag. And this was just scraps I used. Best pin ever, Cats Against Catcalls. I think that's my only pin. But it's got a cute little gray lining. But this is... Sorry, dog. These are my husband's Christmas socks. Excuse me. It is a non-repeatable self-striping. This is, I think, this is the very first self-striping that I dyed. With this one specifically, this green, I don't know how to duplicate. Words are hard. Because it was like a mix. I have a little pot of dye that if I have any extra when I'm dyeing, I just dump it in the pot. And I wanted to see what color it would be, so I decided to put it in there. But it's fun, and I'm almost, when I finish with this color stripe right here, this stripe, I'm going to start the heel. I already marked off my halfway point, because I am a 9-inch circular girl. That is my go-to. I do magic loop for, not magic loop, I use circulars. Let's try that again. I use a 32-inch cable needle, US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter, for heels and toes, and then I do a 9-inch Chow circular is my favorite, US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter, for my socks. This is going to be a 64-stitch cuff and a 72-stitch foot. For the previous socks I made my husband, he said that I could go down in stitch count for the ankle because they were a little loose, which if I don't have to knit 72 stitches for a whole sock, I'm not gonna. Hooray! And then the contrast, I'm doing a contrast heel-toe cuff because he's got giant feet and I don't have a ton of yarn. In just gray silver that I dyed up also. This one, oh, this is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon. And this is actually 75-25 BFL and nylon base. And oh my god, I love BFL. I want all of the BFL. It's makes the best socks. My favorite socks are my BFL socks, definitely. Oh, and we're going to have matching socks because I made myself a pair of these originally. Isn't that adorable? Alright, and then my final work in project, no, work in progress, is, oh goodness, I started the, let's see if I can remember how to pronounce it, a Maile sweater. It's a beautiful color work. Oh, here we go. It is a beautiful color work pattern by a name I cannot pronounce, and I will not do the injustice to her name, their name, by trying to pronounce it, but there we go. It's supposed to be a let Lobi, but I'm using a Highland wool that I have dyed myself, all of it, and we are doing the green sweater down here. I took these colors and laid it over this chart. And then I'm doing green for the body, too. For my husband for Christmas. I didn't say that already. So, I'm on the final row. I started this yesterday. I'm on the final row of the color work. You really can't see it. It's too little. It's all curling up. Final round of color work. Ooh. Before I start the 17 inches of knitting in the round stockinette for the body, and then more color work. But So that's that. Here, I'll show you what I got. So we have, I am alternating every round for these skeins. It was my first time dyeing a sweater's quantity. It was 500, well, they were over 100 grams, it turns out, gram skeins of worsted weight, non-superwash worsted weight wool. So I was really worried about agitating them too much in the pot and felting them, so they came out a little bit more tonal than I had intended, but they're beautiful, and I'm so excited. And I have called the colorway, here we go, let's hold up these 4, and I have a 5th one too that's a little bit more different than these, so that's kind of my reserve that I'll use up in the color work if I have to at the top, and you won't really notice it as much. But I've called this colorway Grass Stains, and there's a lot, it's not really showing up too much on here, a lot more variation. It's very brown, green, yellow, like I said, much more tonal than I had intended, but beautiful nonetheless. Then I have one of my contrasting colors is this brown. That is a lovely brownish blackish. There's some black hints in there that I'm calling Brown Bear, because that's just reminds me of a grizzly bear. Then we also have a light brown, kind of a beige. I called it Melancholy because it's just kind of meh, you know? It was a necessary color, and it's not ugly, but it's just kind of meh. This was, the pattern calls for Stone Blue. I called this one, this came out a teeny bit lighter than I intended, but Overcast. That's one contrasting color. Then we have, the pattern called for Rust, or Rusty, probably Rust. But this I am calling Autumn, and it's a little bit more red than this. It's not quite that orange. And then finally we have Golden, which I'm going to call Golden because it's golden. I can't think of anything better to call it. So that is going to be, there we go, my sweater, his sweater, my sweater. You know how these things go. He's skinny, so I'll be able to fit in it. But I am doing, let's see, a men's medium, and I'm going to just extend the length of the arms and the body because he is a skinny, tall man. And I think that's all I've got for now. It's taken me a long time to re-record. You know, life just gets busy. But thanks for hanging out and talking with me, and hopefully I will do this again before too long. Happy knitting, guys!